Hi, Caleb McLean here again, this time with my Persuasive Speech. Doing it on Pocahontas. The title is Disney's Pocahontas is both extremely racist and a great kids movie. So here we go. The specific purpose of this speech is to inform you guys of how and why this movie is both specifically racist and why it is important for us to show it to our children. Let me start by saying I am not here to offend anyone or make anyone feel less than, as I have Native heritage. I understand that this can invoke extreme emotions, this conversation, and it is not always comfortable. I am sure by now that most of us have seen Pocahontas. For those of us who haven't, it's an hour and a half long Disney movie depiction of English settlers coming to Virginia, Jamestown to be specific. They land looking for gold and find indigenous people instead. The savages, barely even human, as sang throughout the movie. Yeah, I know this sounds bad. Hear me out, though. Let's start with the movie itself, and what it is the true story. Well, kind of. Then we will discuss why its racism is not only acceptable, but what I believe to be needed. To start, I want to say this movie is about not being racist. It is about acceptance and learning from other cultures, if you can make it that far. So we have the Virginia Company on their boat coming to look for gold, singing about all the indigenous people they have killed. No one has shot more savages than John Smith, as we later learn, is supposed to be our hero in the story. Then we see Pocahontas and her friend and her tribe, calm, dancing and singing, enjoying and reaping all the beauty the earth has to give, replenishing it, taking care of it, loving it, learning from it, intertwining with it. Skip ahead a little bit, and the tribe and the settlers interact, and Pocahontas and John Smith fall in love. Convinced they can bring peace to the settlers and the tribe, they try to convince everyone that there is no threat. That backfires. John Smith gets shot, Coquitlam gets shot, and Pocahontas' dad gets shot. It's a giant mess. To make matters worse, this is loosely based on a real-life grown man and a little girl, the little girl being like 14, and him being fully grown at 27. So if that's not bad enough, they literally sing "What Can You Expect from Filthy Little Heathens?" Their whole disgusting race is like a curse. Their skin is hellish red. They're only good when dead. They're vermin, as I said, and worse. Savages, savages. That is like literally the most racist line I've ever heard about an indigenous person in my entire life. One, no one is only good dead. I'm just saying. Two, no one's race is a disgusting curse. And really, they have hellish red skin. Where? Pocahontas is brown. To follow this up, the indigenous people shout back, "This is what we feared. The pale face is a demon. The only thing they feel at all is greed. Beneath that milky hide, there's emptiness inside. I wonder if they even bleed. They're savages." Okay, again with the blatant racism, y'all. Come on. One, milky hide. Indigenous people don't talk like that. Two, I wonder if they even bleed. Admitting that they had hide is admitting that they are an animal and therefore would bleed. Indigenous people are not unintelligent. They know when there is hide, there is blood. So now we have two groups of racist calling each other savages, but only one is a racist term. It's not racist to call a white man destroying the land and killing people with guns savage, but it is to call an indigenous person savage. It's extremely racist. So the depiction here is very racist, however, very honest. This is a toy I got in the 90s. Well, I actually got it at a Goodwill about 6 years ago, but it's from the 90s. It's got Pocahontas and John Smith in it. It's got a little book in it, and here on the back it even says, "Devastation in the wake, he thinks all the Native Americans are savages." Now, if I went and bought a toy that had a little black girl in it and it said the N-word on the back, that would be a big no-go. That would be a huge uproar, because that is a racist term for a black girl. So calling a black girl a savage is a racist term. Enter the song Color of the Wind, which is actually why and when you fall in love with the movie. It's also why and when John Smith and Pocahontas fall in love, but we skip that part in the beginning here for dramatic effect. Easily the best part of the whole movie. Pocahontas sings to John Smith and tells him she isn't the savage that he is, with his weapons and the fact that he thinks he can just take from the earth without giving back. And for about 2 whole minutes, the entire movie makes sense. I mean everything. The whole movie. All of it. You see why she's barefoot. You understand why she runs through the woods listening to the wind. You learn why she loves the earth so much. You learn why she doesn't want to marry Kocoum. You learn why she's in love with John Smith. She takes him on an adventure explaining the earth is not a prize. You think the only people are the people who look and think like you. But if you walk the footsteps of a stranger, you'll learn things you never knew. Showing him that not only is he living in a blind world and a narrow way of thinking, but he is missing the world around him. So ultimately, Pocahontas is racist. Yes, it's extremely racist. But the settlers were very racist, and were not shy about it at all. Does the movie do its best to show that racism can be overcome? Maybe not its best, but it does try. Will they one day delete this movie for crossing a line of racism? Maybe. I think it's important to show racism and people fighting it all in one movie, especially to children. I know that my kids love this movie and they love its message, and it will forever remain one of my all-time favorite movies.